Hello, everyone, and welcome back to SimpleSpeak English. My name is Mark, and I'm very happy you are joining us today wherever you are listening from. Maybe at home, maybe in the car, or maybe even sitting in a coffee shop right now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lily, and thank you for spending your time with us today. Because we know life can be busy, and sometimes it feels nice to slow down, listen to a calm conversation, and learn English in a natural and relaxed way.
Yes, and today we want this conversation to feel very easy and comfortable, like two friends meeting after a long week, sitting down, ordering a drink, and just talking without pressure.
Exactly. And before we begin, Mark, how are you feeling today? Are you relaxed or still thinking about your to-do list?
Honestly, a little bit of both. I tried to relax this morning, but my mind was already planning the day. And that's actually one reason I like coffee shops, because they help me slow down.
I understand that. Coffee shops have this special atmosphere. People talking quietly, cups moving, soft music playing, and somehow it feels easier to breathe and think.
That's true, and I think many people like coffee shops not only for coffee, but also for the feeling, the environment, and sometimes even for the conversations.
Yes, and today our topic is something very common in everyday life, daily English conversations at a coffee shop, because this is a place where small talk happens naturally.
And small talk is very important for English learners because real conversations usually start with simple questions, not big or complicated topics.
Right. And Mark, let me ask you something. When you go to a coffee shop, do you usually talk to people or do you prefer to sit quietly?
It depends on my mood. Sometimes I just want to work or think, but other times a small conversation with a stranger or a friend can really change my day.
I feel the same. Sometimes a short, friendly conversation makes you feel more connected, even if it only lasts a few minutes.
That's a good point. And for our listeners today, we want to show how these conversations begin naturally, slowly, and without stress.
So let's imagine this situation together. Mark and I meet at a coffee shop. Maybe we haven't seen each other for a few days, and we start talking.
Okay, let's do that. So, Lily, hi, it's good to see you again. How have you been?
Hi, Mark. It's good to see you too. I've been good, actually. Just a little busy this week. But today, I finally have some time to relax. How about you?
Pretty much the same. Busy week, but I was looking forward to this coffee. And honestly, just sitting down for a while feels nice.
Yes, sometimes we forget how important it is to pause during the day.
So, what did you order today?
I ordered a cappuccino because I wanted something warm and it feels like a good drink for a slow conversation.
That sounds perfect. I ordered a latte, which is my usual choice. I don't like coffee that is too strong.
That's interesting. I think many learners hear these words often, latte, cappuccino, espresso, but they are not always sure what the difference is.
Yes, and this is why coffee shops are great places to learn everyday English, because you hear common vocabulary again and again.
Mark, do you remember the first time you ordered coffee in English?
Oh yes, I remember feeling nervous because the person behind the counter spoke fast, and I didn't want to make a mistake.
I think many listeners can relate to that feeling.
Definitely. And that's why today we want to show that conversations don't need to be perfect. They just need to be natural.
Let me ask you something, Mark. What is the most common question people ask when they meet in a coffee shop?
Probably, how are you? Or how is your day going?
Yes, and even though the question is simple, it opens the door to conversation.
Exactly. And the answer can also be simple, like, I'm good, just a bit tired. Or, I'm doing well, just busy with work.
And then the conversation slowly grows from there.
Lily, do you think small talk is difficult for English learners?
Sometimes yes, because learners think they need interesting or smart answers, but actually simple and honest answers are better.
That's very true, and small talk is more about being friendly than being impressive.
Yes, for example, you can say, "This place is nice," or "It's busy today," and suddenly you are already having a conversation.
And coffee shops are perfect for that because people expect light, easy conversations.
Let's ask our listeners something too, Mark.
Good idea. So if you are listening right now, think about this question. What do you usually order at a coffee shop?
And try to answer in English, even if it is only one sentence.
Yes, practice in small steps.
Mark, another question for you. Do you prefer morning coffee or afternoon coffee?
Morning coffee, definitely, because it helps me wake up and start the day slowly.
I prefer afternoon coffee because it feels like a small break after work.
That's interesting. And this is another example of simple conversation, asking about preferences.
Yes, questions like, "Do you prefer coffee or tea?" or "Do you like this place?" are very common.
And they help people feel comfortable talking.
You know, sometimes the best conversations start without planning.
That's true. You start talking about coffee, and suddenly you were talking about life, travel, or memories.
That is the beauty of natural conversation.
Before we continue, let's remind our listeners that it's okay to just listen today. You don't need to understand every word.
Yes, listening many times helps your brain get used to English naturally.
And slowly, speaking becomes easier.
So now that we are relaxed and sitting in our coffee shop, maybe we can talk more about why people enjoy these places so much.
I think it's because coffee shops feel both private and social at the same time.
That's a nice way to say it.
You can be alone, but not lonely.
I like that, and I think many people feel the same way.
And conversations here are usually friendly, short, and natural, which makes them perfect for practicing English.
Yes, and I think people feel less pressure in a coffee shop because nobody expects a long or perfect conversation. Even a few sentences are enough.
That's true. And sometimes those small conversations become the best part of the day, especially when someone smiles or says something kind.
I agree. And kindness is actually a big part of small talk. It's not only about words, it's about tone, eye contact, and feeling relaxed.
Let me ask you something, Lily. Do you usually go to the same coffee shop or do you like trying new places?
I usually go to the same place because after a while the staff recognize you and it feels more comfortable, almost like a routine.
Yes, I know that feeling. When the barista remembers your order, you feel strangely happy.
Yes, it's a small thing, but it makes you feel welcome.
And that's another useful situation for learners because you hear the same phrases again and again, like the usual or how's your day going?
Exactly. Repetition helps learning naturally without studying grammar all the time.
Lily, do you ever bring work to a coffee shop?
Sometimes, but honestly, I get distracted easily because I start listening to conversations around me or watching people walk in and out.
I do that too, and sometimes I create stories in my head about people, like wondering where they're going or what they are thinking.
That sounds funny, but I think many people do that quietly.
Probably, and coffee shops are full of small human moments. Someone meeting a friend after a long time, someone studying, someone just resting.
And that makes conversations feel more real and emotional.
Speaking of emotional moments, have you ever had an important conversation in a coffee shop?
Yes, actually, I once met a friend who was moving to another country, and we talked for hours, and the coffee became cold because we were talking so much.
That happens often when the conversation becomes more important than the coffee itself.
Yes, and I remember feeling both happy and a little sad at the same time.
Coffee shops somehow become part of memories, don't they?
They do, because many life moments happen there. First meetings, good news, sometimes difficult conversations too.
That's true. And for English learners, learning how to express feelings in simple words is very important.
Yes, you don't need complicated vocabulary. You can say things like, I feel happy, or I feel nervous, or I'm a little tired today.
Simple words, but very real.
Can I ask you something?
Of course.
If someone wants to start a conversation with a stranger in a coffee shop, what is a safe and friendly way to begin?
I think commenting on the situation works well. For example, saying, "It's really busy today," or asking, "Is this seat free?"
Yes, those sentences feel natural and not intrusive.
And if the other person wants to talk, the conversation continues. And if not, that's okay too.
That's important to remember. Conversations should feel comfortable for both people.
Exactly. And listening is just as important as speaking.
Sometimes more important.
True. So, Lily, what do you usually notice first when you enter a coffee shop?
The smell, definitely. The smell of coffee and fresh bread, it immediately makes me feel relaxed.
I agree. Smell is very powerful. It can change your mood quickly.
And then I look for a comfortable seat, preferably near a window.
Oh, yes. Window seats are the best. You can watch the street and feel connected to the outside world.
Do you prefer quiet coffee shops or busy ones?
I like somewhere in the middle. Not too loud, but not completely silent either.
Same for me. A little background noise makes it easier to relax.
You know, this is another thing learners should notice. Natural conversations include pauses and silence too.
Yes, silence is not always uncomfortable. Sometimes it means people feel relaxed together.
That's a very good point.
Do you think people talk differently in coffee shops compared to other places?
Yes, I think conversations are usually softer, slower, and more personal.
I agree. People lower their voices, and the atmosphere encourages calm conversations.
Which is actually perfect for learning English, because the speed is often slower than in busy streets or offices.
That's true, and learners can focus on pronunciation and rhythm more easily.
Let's ask our listeners another question.
Okay.
When you go to a coffee shop, do you go alone or with friends?
And try to answer out loud, even if you are alone right now.
Speaking out loud helps your confidence grow.
Yes, even simple answers like I go alone or I go with friends on weekends are good practice.
Lily, what is your favorite time of day in a coffee shop?
Late morning, because people seem relaxed, not rushing anymore, and the light feels warm.
I like early morning when everything feels quiet and new.
That sounds peaceful.
It is, and sometimes I just sit with coffee and plan the day slowly.
That sounds like a good habit.
I try.
You know, I think coffee shop conversations teach something important about language.
What do you mean?
That communication is not about perfect sentences. It's about sharing moments.
I like that idea. Sharing moments instead of chasing perfection.
Yes, because when people feel comfortable, language flows more naturally.
And mistakes become less important.
Exactly.
Before we slowly finish today's conversation, let's reflect a little.
Okay.
If someone listening feels nervous about speaking English, what would you tell them?
I would say start small, say one sentence, smile, and don't be afraid of mistakes, because every conversation is practice.
That's very good advice.
And also remember that most people are kind and patient when they see someone trying to speak their language.
Very true.
And maybe next time you go to a coffee shop, you can listen to conversations around you and notice simple phrases people use.
Yes, learning from real life is very powerful.
Thank you, everyone, for relaxing and spending this time with us today.
If you enjoyed this slow and natural conversation, don't forget to subscribe to SimpleSpeak English, because we make these conversations to help you learn English step by step in a calm and friendly way.
Take care, enjoy your coffee, and keep practicing a little every day.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone!